and welcome to Now Showing. I am your host Abhijit Bhatt, and let me tell you, being a film buff is not easy. A lot of times people get annoyed because I'm constantly giving movie references. I mean, yesterday my mom told me कि जा बेटा दुकान से पोछे का एक कपड़ा ले आ, मगर मैं एक के बजाय कई पोछे ले आया. Get it? Okay, bad joke I know, but मेरा भी दिल चाहता है कि मैं खेल खेल में सबको बॉलीवुड की कहानी सुनाऊं, मगर अफसोस कोई राजी नहीं होता. Which is why we have this show, your one-stop destination for all things films and entertainment. From Hollywood ki Demi Moore to Bollywood ki Ranbir Kapoor, we have them all covered. So without further delay, let's take a look at what's coming up on this week's edition of Now Showing. Akshay Kumar and R. Madhavan battle each other in court over the case that shook the empire in Kesari Chapter 2. Ananya Pandey shines bright amid stalwarts. The Last of Us is a deeply emotional survival drama that redefines post-apocalyptic storytelling. It's our top recommendation for your weekend home viewing. Soha Ali Khan talks about child education, her parents, and raising a child in the age of social media. And Saurabh Shukla talks about reprising the role of Rajaji in Raid 2, signing Satya, and explains how Salman Khan stepped in to resolve creative differences during the making of Kick. Alright, now let's start the show with this week's hottest releases and recommendations. Suraj Barjate ki film thi Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. Here's all the amazing stuff you can enjoy over the weekend with a big bucket of popcorn. Because our entertainment and lifestyle editor Tavishi Paitandi is here to guide you on how to make your weekend even more dhamakedar. Over to you, Tavishi.
Hey, I'm back. This week is a mixed bag. While I go back in history and review a film based on one of the most devastating and heart-wrenching attacks on humankind, I also time travel with a stellar series to a world which is near its end. The journey has been an emotional roller coaster, but definitely not a morose one. So if you walk into Kesari Chapter 2 expecting more dhol, dust and Deshbhakti, think again. This sequel brings to the table much more than just chest-thumping patriotism and loud war cries. At its core, Kesari Chapter 2 is a courtroom drama. Smart, tense and surprisingly layered. Akshay Kumar steps into the role of C. Sankaran Nair, lawyer, freedom fighter and a man who dared to challenge the British narrative around the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. A bold move back then and a bold story to tell now. Akshay's true essence as an actor was seen in Sarfira last year. With Kesari 2's Justice Nair, he takes his performance bar a notch higher. Brilliant and effortless. This isn't your typical flag-waving fare. The film starts with a brutal recreation of Jallianwala Bagh firing. It's heart-wrenching. However, it doesn't quite hit the emotional peak of Shujit Sarkar's Sardar Udham. But soon, the drama shifts from blood-stained grounds to the battle-hardened words. And that is where it finds its soul. The courtroom duels between Akshay's Sankaran Nair and R. Madhaval's Neville McKinley are electric. Sharp dialogues, fierce delivery. Two powerhouse performances going head-to-head and it works. Madhavan's mastery at his craft shines through. But what truly stands out is Ananya Pandey. As young lawyer Dilpreet Gill, in a film dominated by veteran stars, she holds her own. Confident, composed and charismatic. Her steady growth as an actor is noteworthy and trust me, you'll find yourself rooting for her. And then comes the wild card, Masaba Gupta in a bold cabaret number. It's not just eye-catching, it's stereotype smashing. Sexy, yes, but without conforming to the usual Bollywood blueprint. A very welcome disruption. So then, what's the verdict? Kesari Chapter 2 dares to be different. It doesn't just glorify the past, it questions it. It dissects it and reclaims it with style. It's gripping, it's fresh, and it's got just the right dose of fire. If you are up to a courtroom clash with heart, history, and high stakes drama, Kesari Chapter 2 deserves your time. This one fights with facts and goes on to win. What if the end of the world wasn't the scariest part? What if the real horror came from the choices we are forced to make when everything is already gone? Welcome to The Last of Us, a series that redefines what a post-apocalyptic story can be. I'm not a fan of either video games or the dystopian genre of dramas. But Last of Us, based on the iconic video game, shatters every stereotype you thought you knew about adaptations. It is a haunting, powerful, surprisingly emotional journey through the world destroyed by a deadly fungal outbreak. But this isn't about the end of civilization. It is about the human beings trying to survive it and the bonds that might just save them. At the center of this dark, devastated America are two unforgettable characters. Joel, played by the phenomenal Pedro Pascal, is a man broken by loss, a survivor whose only goal is to keep moving forward, even if that means shutting down everything that once made him human. And then there is Ellie, the fiery, fearless teen brought to life by Bella Ramsey, who might just hold the key to saving humanity. Their relationship starts with distrust, grows into reluctant companionship, and eventually becomes something like family. But love in this world comes at a cost. And that brings us to the decision that shook audiences everywhere. Ellie is immune. Scientists believe her body holds the cure, but then to extract it, they'll have to take her life. Faced with the impossible, Joel does the unthinkable. He saves Ellie, not the world, but her. He chooses love over logic, one life over millions. And in doing so, he lies to Ellie, telling her the cure never existed. It's one of the boldest, most talked about decisions in recent TV history, forcing all of us to ask, was it really wrong? Or was it just human? Now, in seasons 2, the story picks up with Joel and Ellie trying to build a seemingly normal life in the aftermath. The opening episode is somewhat like a calm after the carnage. It finds them in a quiet town with electricity and hot meals and perhaps a chance at something which is almost normal. But in this world, peace is a fragile illusion. As the dust settles, the weight of secrets, half-truths, and silent guilt begins to surface. And as the line between good and necessary blurs, the show dares to ask, what would you do? The screenplay, beautifully layered. The visual effects, stunning and seamless. The emotions, real, raw, and unforgettable. With a story that hits you right in the gut, The Last of Us isn't just must-watch television. It's an emotional survival test you'll feel long after the credits roll. So buckle up. New episodes drop every week for the next 6 weeks, only on Jio Hotstar. Survival is just the beginning, and The Last of Us Season 2 is just getting started.
Thank you so much for Tavishi for those records. अब जाके तुरंत इन्हें देखो. Moving on, Dangal film में Aamir Khan had once said, "Oh, मारी छोरियां छोरों से कम है के?" And he was right. Take Soha Ali Khan for example, who's wowing everyone with her spooky performance in the recently released Chori 2. A passionate advocate for education and girl-child rights, Soha recently spoke to my colleague Titash Chaudhary about the importance of education Growing up in the shadow of her highly successful parents, Sharmila Tagore and Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi, her cricket skills and Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt's decision to keep their daughter away from the limelight. Check it out.
Like I was telling you, Chhori has just released. Did you have a watch party yet at home with your child?
A watch party, is that what it's called? It's an adult film, and she's just about digesting the visual of the hoarding right outside her bedroom window. I
Right.
don't think I want her to see me
Yeah.
in quite such a monstrous look as yet.
You know, you said that, this is exactly how I look at 8 p.m. every
Yeah.
night, when I'm trying to put her to sleep.
And the monstrous look of Dasima, which you see just a jhalak of from time to time, that's how I feel at 8 o'clock when she hasn't gone to bed and I'm losing control of my faculties.
Oh, God. So it's been, 15 years, your association with PNG Shiksha.
Yes.
How has your understanding of, let's say, learning gaps evolved across these years?
Actually, the concept of a learning gap is new to me. The idea that a child, even a grade 5 child, might struggle to read a grade 2 text is indicative of a learning gap.
Right.
That there might be something emotional, there might be something in terms of a schedule that takes them away from working, like a lot of children from underserved backgrounds feel that they need to also be part of the workforce and help their parents in work, for example, and they're not able to attend school. There may be various reasons as to why that child is being held back. 10, 15, 20 years ago, we knew that there was a problem with literacy and children were not going to schools. Schools didn't exist in numbers. Children had to walk miles and miles. Now that problem doesn't exist. PNG have worked through Shiksha with Roundtable India and other organizations and NGOs to address that problem successfully. But now the learning gap, something that you can't really see, but you can feel exists. And now they're trying to address that.
Of course, you and Kunal are cool parents. That's what Kunal
Thank you.
told me.
Oh, he told you that
He
he's a
told-
cool parent?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said both Soha
He,
and I.
he said, I'm a cool parent. He must have felt obligated by society to say that I'm also a cool parent.
Who between the two of you, or are you both those, that kind of parents who is after her that, you really need to study?
Inaya goes to a school where they don't really give a lot of homework right now.
Okay.
Which upsets me greatly because I love homework. She only gets homework on Fridays.
Yeah.
And she has all week to turn it in. But I, of course, at 4 o'clock on Friday will say, come on, Inaya, let's do homework. She's like, I have 6 more days to do it. And I'm like, no, we must do it now. And then she goes and complains to Kunal, Mama is making me do this now when I have 6 days to do it. And he'd be like, Soha, behave yourself. I'd be like, okay, sorry.
But then who was, let's say, the stricter parent for you? Your mom or your dad?
My mother was strict. Neither of them were, I think, academically oriented. They cared very much that I do well in school and that I focus. And in fact, they wanted me to pursue tertiary education as well. But they were not the kinds of parents to get upset about a report card not being all A's. I was more upset about it. They were more like, you do what makes you happy, find what you're good at. And there was no pressure to succeed because they were super achievers.
Absolutely.
So I think they wore their fame and their success very lightly. And there was never any pressure as a child to match up to that, thank God.
Did you go to cricket training class or something when you were growing up?
It was, I did not go to a cricket, but I'm really good. My
Really?
hand-eye coordination is excellent. I am a good fielder, but I've never really trained in batting or bowling. When I was born, then I think my father was saying, screaming in the corridors, we'll make him a fast bowler, and then said it's a girl. And at that point, there was not much in terms of cricketing potential for girls. Today, it's a
women,
different story.
yeah.
So perhaps they would have invested in me as a bowler then. I do enjoy sports, even today, but more racket sports. I play badminton.
But do you remember visiting your dad on at a cricket practice session maybe?
No, because he'd retired by the time I was born. I was born in 1978.
Oh, right, that's correct,
And
that's
so
correct.
he was sort of at home, and my mother was the one going out and working. But of course, I was aware, and lots of people told me, especially when he passed away, is when everybody reached out to me with incredible stories of how much he had achieved. And now I'm aware, but I did watch him play one father-son cricket match with like a bunch of 13-year-olds where he was like 350 not out. And at some point, somebody was saying, I think you should get out because you're playing with children. And he was like, no, I'm going to keep playing 6 after 6 after 6.
Do you think parenting, Soha, has also become challenging because of social media today?
Absolutely, it has. We're navigating a whole different world.
Yeah.
Where at some point, you felt, okay, your children are safe when they come home. and they're in their bedrooms and, whatever, they're safe. Now, they may be physically with you, but through the internet and through social media, they're connected to a much, and that world can also connect and reach them.
Yeah.
So there are predators all over the world who are actually preying on impressionable minds. And you think they're safe and they're not, which is why it is very important to be vigilant, very important to be involved in your children's lives, to know what is happening on a day-to-day basis, what is affecting them emotionally, are they experiencing anything that makes them uncomfortable at school, physically or emotionally or in any other environment, and try and identify that before it spirals. There's a lot of validation that's coming from outside because of social media, the sense of followers. I am not an impressionable mind, I think, but I'm still affected by it.
I'm sure,
Like
I'm
how
sure.
many likes has my picture got? What are these comments? It's still, I'm thick-skinned, but it still weighs on me. And I think if you're younger and if you are affected by that, then it must be so much more disturbing. These are things that we didn't have to think about at all.
Yeah. My
Earlier.
God, yeah. Like you said, you cannot control what your child is really accessing, on social media. The other thing is the kind of exposure that they are under. The pap culture comes into the whole thing. I remember recently, Ranbir and Alia said that, we want to protect Raha from all of that. Did you ever have to sit and think about something similar?
I mean, of course we do. And luckily, I really feel our relationship with the media has been respectful.
Yeah.
I do remember instances of when, for example, we took Inaya swimming and there was some paparazzi taking pictures and we requested them not to, and they didn't. So I think now you've seen that if parents request the media not to take pictures of their children, they don't. So I do think that exists. Perhaps in Hollywood, that doesn't exist. So we haven't got to that stage as yet. We have chosen to be public figures, our children have not, and therefore I feel that they should not be affected by it. But also it's part and parcel of life. We can't fight against it. It's more practical to accept it and to have that conversation with your child. To say there's an interest in you. These strange people are taking your pictures. Because of this, it should not upset you. It should not worry you. This is because of this reason. If you're uncomfortable, then let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. I think there's a place to have that conversation.
Absolutely. And on that note, Soha, thank you so much for this chat. I, of course, look forward to what you do next because we do miss watching you on the big screen and on the small screen as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Up next, we have the powerhouse performer Saurabh Shukla talking about reprising the role of Rajaji in the film Raid 2, playing Kallu Mama in Ram Gopal Verma's Satya, and explaining why Salman Khan asked his assistant to not disturb him during the shooting of Kick. All this and more in this candid conversation with my colleague Vishal Chatkara.
Sir, you'll be next seen as Rajaji in Raid 2.
जी.
Sir, how different is this Rajaji 2.0 from the first Raid?
Rajaji तो वही है. The character doesn't change, but because the story has changed and Rajaji is in a new situation, so of course you will see his new colors in this film.
When you came on board Satya, both as a writer and as an actor,
जी.
you of course play the role of Kallu Mama.
जी.
क्या आपके कुछ creative differences हुए थे with RGB?
It's a good sign that you have creative differences, but the idea is not to say that what I think is right. The idea is to understand others' point of view. हम लोग कोई rules नहीं follow करते थे, and Ramu was the mainstream guy. And Ramu ने कहा कि I don't care how Bollywood films are made. Let's create a film which we like.
So how you backed Satya? Because what I've heard that Anurag Kashyap was writing the film.
अनुराग जो थे वो रामू को पहले से असिस्ट कर रहे थे. क्या होता है, रामू कभी भी एक फिल्म नहीं बनाते हैं. वो जब फिल्म बना रहे होते हैं तब दूसरी फिल्म की तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं. तो जब अनुराग का फोन आया कि आप आइए, रामू आपसे मिलना चाहते हैं, तो मुझे नेक्स्ट डे मिलना था. मैं सारी रात सोचता रहा कि यार ये मुझे बुला किस लिए रहे हैं. तो मैंने सोच लिया था कि अगर राइटिंग के लिए बोला इन्होंने तो मैं कह दूंगा कि सर मैं लिखता नहीं हूँ, मैं नहीं कर सकता, सॉरी, मेरा बिल्कुल मूड नहीं था राइटिंग का. तो मैं रामू से मिलने गया तो अनुराग भी थे वहां पर, रामू भी था. बैठे तो रामू ने शुरुआत यहां से की। रामू ने कहा कि मैं एक फिल्म बना रहा हूं और ऐसा ऐसा एक दुनिया है, उसका मिलियू ऐसा है। उन्होंने कैरेक्टर्स के बारे में सोचा हुआ था, जैसे भीखू मात्रे उनके दिमाग में था, वो क्या करेगा ये नहीं था, लेकिन भीखू मात्रे कैरेक्टर जो है वो मनोज करेगा, उनको मालूम था। और वो था, उसी में कल्लू मामा का भी नाम था। तो उन्होंने ऐसे एक मिलियू बताया मेरे को और फिर बोले आई वांट यू टू प्ले कल्लू मामा। तो मैं तो खुश, मैंने कहा यार ये तो कमाल हो गया, मतलब अब तो ये तो रोल मिल गया, अब तो बहुत बढ़िया। उसके बाद सेकंड लाइन आई कि एंड आई आल्सो वांट यू टू राइट इट। तो मैं फंस गया। तो मैंने कहा यार अब मैं अगर इस वक्त ना बोलूंगा तो रोल भी हाथ से निकल जाएगा। सो देन मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है लिखते हैं। बट थैंक गॉड आई रोट इट एंड ऑफ कोर्स अनुराग वाज माय को राइटर इन द फिल्म। और मैं अगर अपनी बेवकूफी की वजह से ना कर देता तो मैं बहुत कुछ खो देता।
You've been working from last like more than 30 years now.
जी।
Is there something that you think you will never do on screen? Maybe because it's against your belief system. Is there anything that you think they मैं नहीं करूँगा फिल्म में?
So of course there are things which I will never do, but I can't define them. मैं समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि माइकल एंजेलो या खजुराहो में जो मूर्तियां हैं, जो न्यूडिटी है जिसमें, उसमें और पॉर्न फिल्म में फर्क है। घटिया साहित्य में लिखा हुआ टिटलेटिंग सेक्स को एक्सप्लॉइट करने वाला साहित्य जो है वो, और लेडी चैटरलीज लवर डीएच लॉरेंस का, उसमें फर्क है। तो बात ये नहीं है कि आप न्यूडिटी से आपको परहेज है, आपको इंटेंशन से परहेज है। सो मुझे इंटेंशन समझ में आना चाहिए। मुझे कैरेक्टर से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है या कहानी से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन उसके पीछे इंटेंशन क्या है। तो अगर आप फैमिली फिल्म करके अगर आप उसमें भद्दे मजाक करते हैं तो मुझे उससे प्रॉब्लम है, मैं वो नहीं करना चाहता। हाँ, भद्दे मजाक होते हैं, आप दिखाइए कि एक दुनिया है जिसमें भद्दे मजाक करने वाले लोग हैं, तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, करिए, मुझे उसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। मुझे प्रॉब्लम है कि किसी इन द गार्ब ऑफ समथिंग डू नॉट डू इट, बिकॉज दैट मेक्स इट चीप and that makes it bad. So I think I will never do those things.
So what happened on the sets of Kick? I read that there was an incident where an assistant came to you and asked you to act scared, and you disagreed with him. What happened? How it was resolved then?
किक में क्योंकि सिचुएशन ऐसी थी कि जो सीन था वो ये था कि भाई लड़की का बाप से लड़का मिलने आया है जो शादी करना चाहता है, और इंटरव्यू बाप को करना चाहिए लेकिन वो लड़का करने लगता है इंटरव्यू। तो सलमान कर रहे थे वो लड़के का रोल, और सीन बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है क्योंकि नए तरीके का सीन है। तो मैं ये सोच रहा था कि इसको कैसे किया जाए, क्योंकि भाई एम्बेसडर आदमी है ना। मेरा कैरेक्टर जो था वो एम्बेसडर था उसके अंदर, मतलब किसी कंट्री में एम्बेसडर हूँ। तो मैंने उसको कंफ्यूजन से प्ले किया कि वो जो कह रहे हैं वो बात समझ नहीं पा रहा है, तो ऐसे कंफ्यूजन से प्ले किया। तो असिस्टेंट आया मेरे पास, उसने कहा कि नहीं आप ऐसे मत करिए, आप डर जाइए। तो मैंने कहा यार मैं एम्बेसडर हूं, मैं क्यों डर जाऊंगा भाई। तो सलमान ने ये बात सुन ली और सलमान ने बुला के उसको बोला, उसने कहा दोबारा जाना नहीं इनके पास, वो जो कर रहे हैं उनको करने दो, तुम बीच में जाके अपनी डायरेक्शन मत दो। अभी क्या है सुनिए, ये ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी होती है कि जब भी आप अपने से किसी ज्यादा सक्सेसफुल या पावरफुल आदमी से मिलते हैं तो आपको लगने लगता है कि नहीं वो जो भाई सलमान एक्टर है, करेक्ट, वो बहुत सक्सेसफुल है ना, काफी समय से इंडस्ट्री में। तो उस असिस्टेंट को लगा कि अगर मैं उनको प्लीज कर दूं कि शायद उन्हें अच्छा नहीं लगेगा कि अगर नहीं डरे तो, है ना, ये प्रिजम्पशंस होती हैं। जबकि सलमान जो है वो बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है एज एन एक्टर। वो समझते हैं कि भाई एक्टर में, इसीलिए भाई हर जगह वही थोड़ी पीटते रहते हैं लोगों को, कभी कभी चार घूंसे उनको भी पड़ जाते हैं ना फिल्म में, तो वो कैसे पढ़ते हैं? वो ऐसे पढ़ते हैं भाई, नहीं तो वो बोले कि मैं हीरो हूं, कि मैं तो, मेरे को कोई छू नहीं सकता, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होता है। तो वो एक होता है, लोगों का अपना अपना इनहिबिशंस होते हैं, तो उस बच्चे का था इनहिबिशन ऐसा, उसकी वजह से ऐसा हुआ।
With hopes that your love for films keeps on growing, we have now come to the end of another episode of Now Showing. फिलहाल वक्त आ गया है आप लोगों से बाय बाय कहने का, मगर दिवाली की सोन पापड़ी की जैसे मैं घूम फिर के वापस यहीं आऊंगा. We'll see you at the same time next week with more reviews and recommendations. Until then, goodbye and thank you for watching.